ぱりめちゃくちゃうまい。
明日どこへ行こうとも忘れない。
So this was a really good episode of Smartphone Anime. There wasn't, what I've been finding lately is, on Mondays, let me give you guys an example here. On Mondays, I review two specific animes. I review Cheat Skill Anime, and I review Smartphone Anime. And I take notes, right? I'm always kind of I'm always taking notes on specific, things that happened during the episode, specific events, any notable things I want to talk about, stuff like that. And what I've been finding is week after week, my Smartphone Anime kind of notations that I take, kind of things that I want to talk about, have been less and less. So for context, this episode, my notes, I took down a specific amount of 296 words. That's how much I wrote, which is actually more than last week. For context, in Cheat Skill Anime this week, I wrote down, 480. So I basically had double the amount of things to say. So that just kind of leads me into the next thing, which is Smartphone Anime overall is enjoyable. It's been moving really quick, and I think that the last couple episodes have kind of fallen flat just a bit. They've been just very okay. I do think that this was one of the better episodes, but still, regardless of it, it's just the fact that things of events and stuff that occur have just kind of been less, and that main plot of the phases, the time travel, this main plot and everything have just kind of taken a back burner to introduce us to more girls, to introduce us to more things, and stuff like that. So let's just kind of get into this episode, and I'll talk about, it overall. But I do think this one was a solid, from an enjoyability factor, this was a solid 8 out of 10. So first off, last week we left off with him finally meeting his, I think, at this point, his eighth wife. I guess you could say 7th or 8th, right? The ninth, the final wife is going to be Leanne or Lean or however you say her name, the fairy girl. That's gonna be the last one that he finally commits to. But the others, number 7 and 8, you can, depending on how you can put their order, was the blonde night girl, and then the pink-haired elf girl or whatever she is, named Sakura. The name Sakura has been bestowed upon her, and the reason it was bestowed upon her is because she lost her memory. So we find out this episode that he took her back to the alchemy ward, and they were able to put back her body parts that she was missing based on this attack that she had. But the thing that was a conundrum even for the person in charge of the alchemy ward was the fact that her memories were gone, and she is currently suffering from amnesia, which is surprising to Toya and surprising to the girl from the alchemy ward. The reason that is so surprising is typically, based on her injuries and the things that happen, amnesia wouldn't kind of be in the ballpark of things to occur. Now, regardless, it still is, and it still is what happened, so he has to deal with that. So he begins talking to her, seeing if she remembers anything, and he comes to find out that, yeah, she is in fact suffering from amnesia. So he decides to give her a temporary name, and the temporary name that he decides to give her is Sakura, very original, I know, which basically just stands for cherry blossoms, which is the color of her hair. And the writing's kind of on the wall already, you know what I mean? But I'll talk about that in a second. But he gives her the name Sakura because of her hair, and Sakura just means cherry blossoms in Japanese, okay? And after that, he takes her back to the castle, and he gives her a guest room there. He gives her a space because the reality is in the alchemy ward. The place that she was in was like a psych ward. It looks like she was in a prison for the mentally ill. Wasn't very becoming of a space that you want to actually try and get better in at all. So he brings her back there. He hears her singing one day. Apparently maybe she was like a songstress elf, songstress wizard, songstress demon, songstress something. Maybe the singing is just a hobby, but regardless, the songs are so ingrained in her heart and in her body that she doesn't really know where it comes from, but she just knows this is kind of, what she likes. He begins to play piano for her, and they go into a duet. All the girls end up gaslighting her into singing more, which she does. She sings a very like lovey song, which is really really cool. So overall, I enjoyed all of that. Now, where I said earlier that the writing's on the wall, obviously it's one of those things to where she's gonna fall for Toya. You know, all of his taking care of her and reaching out to her, and basically his warmth and everything. You could tell that she's going to kind of like fall for him. And at some point, you know, her memories are they're gonna come back, but the feelings won't be gone. So you could tell that her memories will end up coming back, but whatever she ends up producing or having for Toya is going to stay. Now her backstory is gonna be very interesting, but you can tell it's kind of the writing on the wall is eventually she'll get her memories back of who she is, where she's from, but you know she's going to definitely fall in love with Toya. You can see that writing on the wall. Last piece that I'll cover here is Toya ended up accepting a mission for a petrification monster that has mystic eyes. Cool thing about that request is he got a lot of money and rewards, which all the girls called him out for being the sole reason that he accepted that request. But also the eyes continue to work even after the monster's dead, so he now has 2 sets of eyeballs that can petrify. So those are really good material for him to do something with in the future. And he was also able to test out some magic that is blinding as well too. Now with that, we got some fan service, some other things within that with the petrification. But overall, that was a really good thing to see. And then the episode finally wraps up with the grandfather of Linnea, which is where the blonde hair girl is from. Apparently, he is the only other person that is under the Adventure Guild's umbrella who could have taken on this monster, but they didn't want to request this of a 70-year-old man. So at the end of the episode, we get to see him, and he has a strong interest now in Toya as well. So you can see the writing on the wall for that too, that to get a partnership with Toya, he'll probably end up giving his daughter away, who already seemingly, or granddaughter away, who seemingly already has a really strong interest in Toya as it is. So she'll probably be all for that as well, to establish a partnership with Brunhild, which is Toya's kingdom. So overall, really good episode, really enjoyable. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. But like I said, the notes that I take and the things overall have become less and less as each episodes have gone on. But that's okay. I still enjoyed this quite a bit. I think this was one of the better episodes so far in smartphone anime. So anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. I'll see you, my friends, next week for episode number 11. As we wrap up the season, I think there's only 12 episodes this season. Yeah, so we basically have 11 and 12. So we have 2 more weeks of this. So we're going to have next week's episode, which I'm going to have to let you guys know up front. That episode is going to be late because I'm actually going to be on a 1-week vacation. So for me specific, I'm going to have to wrap up episode number 11 and 12 the week after, because that week from on the 11th I won't be in town, so I'm not going to be able to be here. I might be able to see if I can watch these episodes while I am on vacation, but the likelihood of that is very, very small. So we'll have to let you guys know more, but for the moment I probably won't be able to do anything, so I'll probably have to see you guys the next following week. All right, my friends. See you then. Peace.